call your name out from the valley, yeah.
You come.
And when I call your name out from the hills, Yahweh, my yeah.
You come.
Said I wanna be. Oh, oh, you're where I am, yeah.
I wanna be where you are where I am.
Baraka Shalom Va'ai, blessing, peace and life unto you all. It's Merv, and we are looking at the word humble today. Humility. Now, in the English, when you say the word humble, you can put it in different places, but by how you speak is which one you will understand what the meaning is. But in the Hebrew now, there is more than one word for humble, so that you know specifically which one you are talking about. So just like in the English, we have humble and it can mean different things. This humble can mean different things. Just like we have L-I-V-E, which could either spell live or live in the English. The Hebrew is totally different to the English. Okay? So we're looking at humble, and we're going to read from the definition of the dictionary first. And 1, having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance. That is number 1. Number 2, low social, administrative, or political background. Example, she came from a humble, underprivileged background. So there's 2 different ways for the word humble, and it depends on how you put it in a sentence. You would understand the way it is placed in the sentence for what it really means. 3, lower someone in dignity or importance. Example, humiliate, demean, lower, or degrade. Now all of these, when you put them in a sentence, you would know which one you're really meaning. But in the Hebrew now, there is more than one word. All of them is humble, but they have different words to actually show you which one you're talking about. So the first word we're going to look at today is anav. A-N-A-V. We can look at 3 words today. from the Hebrew. Anav. And anav usually denotes a condition of character. The scriptures is not only concerned about our external conditions, but the Most High is very interested with the internal conditions of our temples. Psalms 25:9 would be a good example for that. Psalms 149:4, Psalms 34:2, and I'm just gonna, and in Matthew. So when these scriptures say the meek shall inherit the earth, instead of called meek is also humble, you will have that word anav there. So we're just gonna look at we're just gonna read from Psalms 37:11. Let me get it here quick. Psalms 37:11. We're looking at the word anav. Let me call those scriptures again in case you didn't get them. Psalms 25:9, Psalms 149:4, Psalms 34:2, and we have Matthew 5:5, where the meek shall inherit the earth, the anav shall inherit the earth. So the meek, that would be number 1, having a modest or lowly background. So we look at Psalms 37:11 first. So let me just pull out the scripture here quick for you. I ain't gonna read all the scriptures I know called. That's why I call them out, so that you could go show them on your own to see the word anav explained itself in the scriptures. So we got Psalms here, 37:11. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. So that is the word anav there. That's one form of humility with the word anav. Now the second word we're gonna look at is the word ani, which is A-N-I. Ani usually denotes a condition of circumstances, like I already read earlier from the English version. So we just getting the Hebrew meaning, the Hebrew word you would use for those words. Ani usually denotes a condition of circumstances. Those who are ani are suffering or afflicted, and as a result find themselves in a lowly condition, whether physically, materially, or socially. This affliction is often imposed by someone else, usually the wicked. Now Isaiah 32:7 would be a good scripture for you to go to for that. Deuteronomy 24:14-15, Isaiah 3:14-15. Now this the word ani said that usually it is somebody that is afflicting this on you to humble you, right? And a lot of times, right, being in an ani position is built an enough character, if you understand what I'm saying. Because when you are in a lowly position, you will learn to, a lot of people learn to humble themselves when they are in a lowly position. Because if you all the time, the rich cannot, most of the rich, let me put it this way, most of the rich is not enough. Because they have never find themselves in this position. But a lot of people that came from a lowly background is end up having an enough. So as I say, a knee position can also build your enough, which is your character, right? So those are the two words we looked at so far. I just call some scriptures for you, and then we're just looking at the word humility and being humble, because I find that it is lacking amongst the believers. A lot of humility is lacking amongst the believers, and I'm going to go into it a little bit. Then the last word we're going to look at today is the word shafel, S-H-A-P-H-E-L, shafel. Now shafel is a high position with lowliness. Isaiah 27:15 would be a good one to go to. So remember, that is being humble, a high position with lowliness. So we're going to just talk about this one a little bit. So who in the scriptures that was in a high position that bring themselves to a low level? No other than our Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. Now he lived in heaven, sitting at the right side of the Father, but yet still he put himself in a position to be humbled by man, to be spot on by man. Spot. Let me speak properly, because some people say that I sometimes speaking too fast. So he was spit on. People slap him, they beat him with all kind of things. He put himself in a position. So this shafel position was, the greatest example is Yahushua HaMashiach. I know give you some scriptures there, but the greatest example is Yahushua HaMashiach, who came down to earth and was humbled by man. He was in a high position, but brought himself to a low position to save all of us. So he went before the leaders, and they asked him questions and he dare not answer. And when it was time to answer, it was short and to the point. But he brought himself from a high position to a low position, and that is that form of humility, of being humble. Now, one of my favorite words, one of my favorite scriptures about humility is with Jethro and Moses, because as I said, with a lot of leaders, it is lacking. They lack humility, and I'm just going to give you an example before we read it from the scriptures, because Moses The reason why I love to use Moses for humility is because he was very humble and had great character and also had a lot of meekness. The reason why I say this, now Moses was one that was speaking with the Father daily. Now he was in a position that he was meeting daily with the Father. He was getting information daily, but yet still kept his humility. And the example, when Jethro, his father-in-law, came and he saw Moses sitting judging men from day to night, and he told Moses, "What you doing right now is madness. Because you sitting all day every day, you ain't burn out yourself. Now what you should do is put some men in position that only the important matters should get to you." And Moses, in his wisdom and in his humility, and as the leader, saw the wisdom in what Jethro was telling him. Now, if Moses wasn't humble or didn't have any humility, he could have told Jethro, "I just talk to God every single day, face to face, and he never tell me to do this. So who are you to come and tell me to do this when the Father didn't tell me to do it?" But because he had humility and because he was humble, he took the advice from somebody else. And what this scripture showed me is that the Father, although the Father talked to you daily, the Father not going to give one man everything, just so that person could remain humble. Because when some person think that there's no need to take any advice or even any information from somebody else, that means their head starts to grow, as we put it in our terms. Their head starts to grow and pride steps in. But the Father never give one man everything, because you know what? You're supposed to remain humble. That's why he would even send a prophet that even less than you to come and tell you something that he have to tell you. Instead of telling you, he's telling you himself, although you are a prophet or a prophetess. Because it's not everything the Father will tell you. He will give others to bring information to you, and it's up to you now to discern if that information is coming from the Father or not. So we're just going to read it from the scripture now. And we're looking at Exodus 18, 1 to 27. Exodus 18, 1 to 27. So let me just find it here quick. Right, Exodus 18, 1 to 27. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moshe's father-in-law, heard of all that Elohim had done for Moshe and for Israel, his people, and that Yahuwah had brought Israel out of Mitzrayim, then Jethro, Moshe's father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moshe's wife, after he had sent her back, and their 2 sons, of which the name of the one was Gershom, for he said, "I have been an alien in a strange land." And the name of the other was Eliezer, for the Elohim of my father said he was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moshe's father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife unto Moshe into the wilderness, where he encamped at the mount of Elohim. Now this is after Israel left Egypt, and Jethro went and meet with the Israelites. And Moshe went out to meet his father-in-law and did obeisance and kissed him, and they asked each other of their welfare, and they came into the tent. And Moshe told his father-in-law all that Yahuwah had done unto Pharaoh and to Mitzrayim for Israel's sake, and all the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how Yahuwah delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which Yahuwah had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of Mitzrayim. And Jethro said, "Blessed be Yahuwah, who has delivered you out of the hand of Mitzrayim, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who has delivered the people from under the hand of Mitzrayim. Now I know that Yahuwah is greater than all gods. For in the thing wherein they dealt proudly, he was above them. And Jethro, Moshe's father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for Elohim, and Aaron came and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moshe's father-in-law before Elohim. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moshe sat to judge the people, and the people stood by Moshe from the morning unto the evening. And when Moshe's father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, "What is this thing? What is this thing that you do to the people? Why sit you yourself alone, and all the people stand by you from morning unto evening?" And Moshe said unto his father-in-law, "Because the people come unto me to inquire of the Most High. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of Elohim and his Torah." And Moshe father-in-law said unto him, "The thing that you do is not good." This is advice coming from Jethro, from Moses' father-in-law. You tell him what you're doing ain't no good. It's not good what you're doing. And will surely wear away. Listen to the wisdom. And will surely wear away both you and this people that is with you. For this thing is too heavy for you. You are not able to perform it yourself alone. This is the wisdom coming from Moses' father. You know that the scripture say, treat the gray-headed. When you see the gray-headed come into the room, stand, because you know that these scriptures, some of the old laws, they say that when you see these gray-headed come in, they walk with wisdom. Listen, respect, which we don't have nowadays. But because of Moses' humility, he never threw out what his father-in-law brought to him. Hearken now unto my voice. You hear what he say? Hearken now unto my voice. I will give you counsel. And Elohim shall be with you. Be for the people to Elohim word, that you may bring the causes unto Elohim. And you shall teach them ordinances and Torah, and shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, you shall provide out of all the people able men, such as fear Elohim, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. This is the wisdom coming from Jethro. And let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto you, but every small matter they shall judge, so shall it be easier for yourself, and they shall bear the burden with you. So one man can't do the work. There's structure in heaven. And what Jethro did was give Moses structure to lay out how the people move amongst them. So he said, put leaders over thousands, and over the thousands put leaders over hundreds, and over hundreds put leaders over tens. So you keep on breaking it down, so that all the matters will go to the leader. If that leader can't solve that, then you go to the other leader. And if that leader can't solve that, then it keep going up. And so only the greatest matters that is unsolvable amongst those other leaders should get to you. That way you can't burn out yourself. And if you shall do this thing, and command you, and Elohim command you so, then you shall be able to endure, and all these people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moshe hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. That is wisdom from Jethro and wisdom from Moses also. Because if humility also comes with wisdom. So Moses realized it was good advice and took it. He never told Jethro, I just speak to God every day, and if the Moses he want me to do it, he would tell me himself. He never big up himself. He humbled himself and took the advice. Many leaders today won't do that. And Moshe chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they judged the people at all seasons. The hard causes they brought unto Moshe, but every small matter they judged amongst themselves. And Moshe let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. So here is Jethro the Midianite, moving with wisdom. Now, we now read something that was very important here too that I'm just going to touch on. This doesn't have to do with humility now. Jethro, the scripture say he is the high priest of Midian. Now, I just always tell people, a lot of people just only talk about the chosen, the chosen people, which is the Israelites. And then they will talk about the tail, the Gentiles. Right? Everybody just talk about the head and the tail. But no one talks about the core of the body. So everybody just look at two sets of people. The head, which is the Israelites, and the tail, which is the Gentiles. But I'm here to tell you that there's another set of people in the middle that it is not really mentioned talk about a lot in the scriptures. But when you look at Abraham and the promise that the father gave to Abraham, he said that I'm going to make you a father of many nations. Not just Israel. I'm going to make you a father of many nations. Israel is a chosen people. They will be the head. But there's also a set of nations that come under Israel that is not I won't call them the Gentiles. I just call them the core, the middle of the body. Because there's the head. Yes, Gentiles is other nations, but there's the head, and there is the middle of the body, and then there is the other nations. Now the middle of the body is those people that was born out of Abraham. Now we have the Ishmaelites, we have the Midianites, we have Midian, we got the first son, Ishmael, that was born from the Egyptian. When it was time for Moses to put Ishmael out, the father told Moses, I know that you're worrying about Ishmael, but I'm going to tell you this. I got Ishmael covered, because I made a promise to you that I'm going to make you a father of many nations. I will take care of Ishmael, so don't worry, make him go. But I will take care of him, because you know what? He is your seed. So Ishmael, Midian, all those that came out of his third wife, Keturah, because when Sarah died, Moses married again.
Said those who dwell, say those who dwell, shall abide